Hello, fellow Rebel Capitalists. Hope you're well. Just joining you from my hotel room in Phoenix, Arizona this morning. Let's check out some of the news here. Twitter and Elon Musk really having a hard time because of the woke mob. Let's go right into the story from CNBC. And civil rights leaders calling for advertisers to stop spending on Twitter. So the first thing that came to my mind is why. You'd say, oh, George, well, they don't like Elon Musk. Okay, but what is their position? Why is Twitter so bad that advertisers need to stop spending? And then my next question was, if it's just that that Elon Musk and his views are so evil that advertisers should not be associating with them, why were these people not calling out Tesla? Why not SpaceX? Why not Starlink or the tunnel company or whatever the hell he calls it, right? Or why not the solar panel company? Why is it that they're just calling him out for Twitter? And I get it, they can pressure the advertisers, but why not pressure customers of Tesla to stop using Teslas or stop buying them? How about pressuring malls to not allow Elon Musk to put in charging stations or just gas stations or wherever he's putting these supercharging stations? Why not pressure them? It's I think telling that now all of a sudden they're starting to go after Elon when he acquires Twitter. So the key talking points here: the coalition of civil rights groups sent a letter this week to companies urging them to stop advertising. I also have to say that I'm no big fan of the left or right. I think they're all just criminals, and I think that people are very susceptible to the games that the people play on the left and on the right. They both play very similar games, and CNN plays similar games to Fox, and it's most of it's nonsense, right? But it is interesting how the people on the left are far better at doing this. You never hear a group on the right that is going after a company or protesting them or trying to get them banned, or it's very weird that every once in a while you'll see a group on the right doing that, but it's like in a response to something that already happened to them from a social media group or XYZ entity. They're very good at getting mad and getting companies to do certain things based on their anger. So Jessica Gonzalez, CEO at Free Press. CEO at Free Press. Free Press. Wow. There's some irony for you. So the CEO at Free Press is pissed off at Elon Musk for not censoring enough. Basically what's going on here. She said he seemed genuine, but his actions have betrayed his words. First of all, Elon's mistake here is even talking to these people. Don't even give them the time of day, because no matter what you say, you will never appease them. It's just like apologizing. It just doesn't work. And I know Elon's had a lot of people come after him in the past, and he's had a lot of enemies and a lot of detractors online. But I think he's dealt with a completely different mindset. So I think of the people that have come after him in the past. Let's say a David Einhorn, a Jim Chanos, on Twitter, a Montana skeptic, or a Tesla Charts, or maybe my good buddy Chris Irons with the QTR podcast. My point here is you've got people that are coming after you because of ideas. they're coming after you from an intellectual standpoint. That, hey, you're breaking the law, or hey, you're doing this that's wrong, or hey, you are charging people for an automatic driving thing or an autopilot deal. It doesn't work. It's dangerous, right? It's kind of a more of a cerebral approach, where I think now what he doesn't understand is he's not dealing with people who are coming at him from an intellectual standpoint. They're coming after him from an emotional standpoint. This has nothing to do with rationale. It has nothing to do with critical thinking. None of that. And that's why you just can't appease him. So why talk to him? And I think this was a big surprise that when he bought Twitter, I doubt he expected this to happen, or at least to this degree. So Musk tweeted Friday that Twitter suffered a massive drop in revenue because of activist pressure. And again, I go back to my question: what's their point? Like, what do they not like about Twitter now compared to 2 weeks ago? Is it just Elon Musk? Because if it's just Elon Musk, then why weren't you protesting Tesla? So moving down the article here, they've got the coalition dubbed Stop Toxic Twitter. Okay, in other words, it might as well be hashtag we want Twitter to censor the people we don't like. Consists of organization including Media Matters, Free Press, again, gotta love that, Accountable Tech, and Color of Change. Earlier this week, the coalition sent a letter to companies like Amazon, Anheuser-Busch. Another thing that's bizarre is why does Amazon care? Like, I get Disney, because Disney is, I mean, the people in the leadership positions there are pretty much the woke mob. Well, maybe that's it, because now these companies have been overtaken by the wokesters that learned all this maybe in college. And now all of a sudden, this is their worldview. So since they sympathize with this worldview, that we just need better, the path to a better society is through the censorship of speech. This is what they believe in a nutshell. So I guess it would make sense that they are happy to pander to these emotional voices out there, because they themselves are part of the emotional voices. So their voice concerns to Musk about increased hate and offensive speech in the platform. You know, what else is weird too is that why do they not go after advertisers for advertising on Netflix? If there's a specific program on Netflix they don't like. Or how about on cable TV? Like, think about that. If there's a show on Fox News, let's say, or well, maybe a better example would be like the Discovery Channel, and that the woke mob doesn't like, sometimes they'll say, okay, they'll go after the Discovery Channel, but they won't go after Cox Cable. So why wouldn't, like, okay, if you want to go after Apple for advertising on someone's Twitter that isn't really, say, family friendly, then I get it. But Twitter itself, it just doesn't make sense. My whole point here is when you sift through this, it becomes blaringly obvious that their issue really isn't even with free speech, or it's just with Musk, because Musk is on the wrong team. And if you're on the wrong team, then they hate you and they want to destroy you. That's really the bottom line here. So Jessica Gonzalez of Free Speech or Free Press said Musk promised to retain and enforce election integrity measures. All of this is just code for, censor people from saying things we don't like. With today's mass layoffs, it's clear Musk actions betray his words. So now what they're doing is they're saying, well, yeah, if you lay off too many people, then we don't like that, because then you're going to allow people to say whatever they want, and therefore we need to pressure advertisers to move away and therefore cause you some sort of financial pain. It's content moderators. So Gonzalez said that she's very concerned about them losing their content moderators. And look, if the content moderators were moderating her team, do you think that she would be concerned with that? No, she's just concerned because she knows that the Twitter moderators were moderating the team that she doesn't like. These companies can stop their advertising from fueling intimidation, violence, and pain. This is when you know that they have no basis to what they're saying whatsoever. They have no argument. They just try to pander to emotions, and they just throw things out there that just have no, they're not grounded in reality. Like, show me the example of pain on internet as a result of Coca-Cola advertising there, or excuse me, pain on Twitter. Like I don't even know what that looks like. Like, what are you talking about? Okay, so this article goes, you get it. Here is where Musk talks about this on Zero Hedge. I would suggest this article. I think it's a little bit better. And this is the gal, or one of the gals, that really is quite proud of her. I guess she's taken a lot of the credit for these advertisers backing down from Twitter. And she says, whoa, Twitter started hemorrhaging advertisers the second they got a whiff of Elon Musk take over the platform. This isn't about free speech versus political correctness. It's about how nobody wants to be associated with Elon. Yeah, Nandini, what she kind of misses here in her tweet is that why is it that no one wants to be associated with Elon? Because he isn't politically correct. That's the whole point here, Nandini. And again, what's weird to me is that there's no Nandinis on the right. They're only on the left. It's, I think, quite telling. So there you have it. Elon not getting what he was expecting there. I think he just believed that there would be some pushback, but I don't think he's experienced the woke mob, just because from their standpoint, he was on their team, or he was gradually transitioning onto the other team, but wasn't doing it in a vocal way. But now that it's at the forefront, he's got a bigger target on his back, and therefore they're going to go after him, just like they went after Rogan and everyone else, over the last 2 years. The problem is, and I don't think that Rogan should have apologized to them as well. Once you start apologizing to them, then they've got you right where they want you, and they'll never, ever, ever stop. Because once you show like just 1 ounce of once you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. That's what I'm trying to say. And they're going to continue to take mile after mile after mile after mile until you're destroyed. But if you just stand up and just basically give them the finger, then they're going to be like, okay, this, you know what it's like? It's like the bully in grade school. If the bully doesn't, the reason he bullies other kids is to get that reaction from them, right? It's to get that power over them. But if you immediately let the bully know that they have no power over you whatsoever, then they just leave you alone. It's not fun to pick on you anymore. And it's the exact same thing with the woke mob. It's just they get off on bullying people and having this sense of power over companies or corporations or whatever. It's the only way that this really makes sense, because if you try to think through their argument, they completely contradict themselves. They run around in circles, and there's really no critical thinking that's being used here whatsoever. they're trying to say that their argument from the free speech society or whatever free press is that they want less free press. They only want free press when it's the press that says things that they like. Even the name is ironic. So, I mean, if there's anyone that's equipped to handle this, it's probably Elon or Trump, I think, did the best with that. Not that I really care for Donald Trump, but I think Elon's going to need to go through a very quick learning curve here. Or, boy, you know what they're going to do is once they see that they can take down Twitter, they're gonna just get that power kick, and then they're just going to go after every single thing that he does and just try to destroy him, just so they can stand on top of that mountain and claim victory.
Do you think Elon would start censoring all those people who come after him, or do you think he'll actually stand to his principle, a goal of having free speech?
That's a good question. I think Elon, I've said this for a long, long time, he's really cut from the same type of cloth as Trump, in my opinion. And that is that I don't know that they're very principled. They're just very goal oriented, let's say. So if they set a goal for themselves, if they have an objective, if they have a mission, they're going to do whatever it takes to win. Period. End of story. So just like Trump will, he doesn't really have too many principles, although he says that he does, but he'll just literally do anything and say anything required to win an election if that's his goal. It's very common with people who are overachievers, that they get so hyper focused on attaining this type of success that there's nothing that will stand in their way. And I think Elon, he's done some great things, some bad things, but I think that he definitely falls into that category. And I think that people like that believe they're above the law. And what's interesting about that is a lot of times those people can get a lot of stuff done, and they're overachievers, and it's actually beneficial to society. But there's a fine line, right? I don't know that I've ever met an entrepreneur that's really good that, how should I say this? That isn't okay with bending certain rules, let's say, if the rules don't make sense. It's just like, anyone watching this video on this live stream right now, if you go onto a highway and the speed limit's 45 miles per hour, you're going to be like, what? I'm not driving 45. This is stupid. And I say, well, but it's the law. I don't care. It's a stupid law. I think entrepreneurs definitely fall into that category. And some more so than others. So I think that Trump and Elon definitely fall into that category, where Elon is like, listen, I'm trying to change the world here. This is for the betterment of society, and it's helping me achieve my objectives. And if some stupid SEC rule gets in my way, SEC be damned. And I think Trump is, the same way. If I need to tell one group one thing and then tell the other group the other thing and completely lie through my teeth, sure, why not? Because the country's going to be better off if I'm president. And so to answer your question, disagree. Trump has had one set of views like Ron Paul. Oh, come on, Ryan. Come on now. Come on, buddy. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest. Trump, okay, I guess you could say he's done some things well, but to say that he's principled like Ron Paul, that's absolutely ridiculous. Oh, geez. Anyway, That caught me off guard right there. That was a good comment. But you get my point, Josh. So I think that Elon Musk, would I put it past him? No, absolutely not. If he's going to do what he needs to do to keep the mission alive. All right, guys. Well, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. A lot of news today, so we'll be back with quite a few live streams. Make sure that you're always standing up for freedom, liberty, free market capitalism, and make sure that you don't fall into that category and that you are principled. You've got to have some principles, but then I guess you've got to also question society's regulations and laws. I think that's your moral duty as well, because those are coming down from a centralized authority, and often those rules are immoral. I mean, I look at the lockdowns. So just because it's a law or a rule doesn't mean that you should obey it. But I think that you should always look at those laws with healthy skepticism, especially if they're laws that are where there's no victim, which the lockdowns, I think, definitely would have fallen into that category. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next video.